about prelim examination is that please don't shy away from guessing the answers. That is a part and parcel of every national level MCQ based examination. You got to guess. Okay, there is no choice whatsoever. Because the examination is framed in that way, there is literally a research wing within UPSC where they have a set of 40-50 people. They are given questions and then a feedback is taken from them. In which questions you felt that you are being confused. And then they choose these questions and they put it in the examination. All right. Yeah, exactly. That is the pattern, not only in India but in other countries as well. And certainly in CAT as well. So in that case, you should be ready to guess because you are bound to be confused at least in two options. I mean, if you say that I have 50-50 doubt, then you must go for the question. That is worth a risk. Rather than leaving it and getting 0, you either get 2 or you get minus 0.6. So it's worth a risk to go for this, firstly. Secondly, if there are 60 questions out of 100 where you have to guess, then we have no choice but to guess. Because only 40 of them we are confident about. That is not the score which would be fetching us a seat in mains. We are still 30, we are still reduced by 30. 70 paranta that's na aplyala. So for those extra 30 you have to guess, right? So take your preparation to such a level where your guesswork becomes even more logical. Guesswork does not mean you just close your eyes and put your finger. All right. Guesswork means you feel that, okay, I think it should be eliminated. I think this would not be the case. All right. Or I think this is the answer. Okay. That way you should go for it. Try to use some logic and then go for it. Okay. In my case now, again, maybe I'm not allowed to speak it from this platform, but considering the fact that I'm not only a student who has passed the examination, I'm also a teacher and also a veteran in this field because I appeared for 5 times. Okay, so considering this, in last 5 of my prelims, I have been a person who, if I know the answer, I confidently mark it. And if I am supposed to guess, I use even more confidence to mark it. All right. I just don't hesitate from doing this. And in 2015, as I said, relaxed mindset, etc., I wouldn't suggest that to you. But somehow I felt that I wouldn't leave a single question this year. So I attempted all the 100 questions. All right. I said that, okay, let's not do injustice with any question now. And attempted all of them. In fact, the thing is that I had planned to attempt 91, but in the end, when I measured I calculated how many questions I attempted, it appeared to be 92. So I said, if I exceeded my target, let's exceed it completely. Which are these 8 questions I have not attended? Okay, these are the ones. Okay, let's go for them. Let's try. And certainly I'm not bragging about it, but those 8 questions, I deliberately searched for the answer for them. Out of those 8, I got 5 correct. All right. This is how the confidence and the logic works, the guesswork works. Okay, I got some of them about which I was confident, I got them wrong, some of them. But these 5 were able to fill that gap up. Okay, so, and this is a part of my strategy. Again, I repeat this is a part of my strategy. And whenever I meet a student who is appearing for any MCQ based examination, I suggest him that appear for maximum questions. At least out of 100, minimum attempt should be 85. If you say I solved 70 questions, your accuracy is going to be 70%. So 49 would be your number of correct answer, mathematically out of rest, right? So what is the point in going for this? And this is my experience right since the days of my CAT examination. Okay, where I was very bad at mathematics, but I attempted more from mathematics rather than English and logical reasoning. So this is how it has been working for me. Okay, and I strongly believe that a good student, this logic works for him as well. Okay, so hecha kaam kara tumi, and what I suggest is that try to use all these techniques in your practice tests. This is what you are using the tests for. Okay, I for myself go for rounds. Question number 1 to question number 100. First round, only those questions about which I am 100% confident. I ultimately come to know that, okay, there were either 25, 30, 35 questions like this. Then second round, those questions about which I have some 50-50 doubt, or I got confused, or I felt that, okay, I'll deal with the question later on. Then second round for that, by this time I come to up to 70 to 75 questions. And third round for all the remaining 25 questions about which I have no idea. or about which I don't know the answer. And then decide out of which how many of them I can guess. Or maybe all of them I can guess, and then go for it. Okay, just try to use all these techniques, whether you should go from 1 to 100 without any round, or you should go for multiple rounds and so on. All these things are really very important. As I repeat, this is not only a test of your knowledge, this is a test of your strategy. Okay. So that's why these things are really very important. All right. Now, when it comes to the preparation for the prelim examination, there are still 2 more months to go. You would be practicing, you would be reading the textbooks, you have been ably guided by your teachers, etc., etc. So I don't feel the need to really emphasize upon it. But I would still tell you some don'ts. Okay, all right. Don'ts तर ठीक है तुम्हाला सांगतीलच लोक, but don'ts are really very important over here. First don't is that don't be panic. If you feel that you are putting in a lot of effort, but a certain topic is still hurting you, you don't have to be panic. What happens is that the test series, etc., are made in such a fashion where a student should not be feeling overconfident. Okay. Also, now I have been a teacher. When I make my own questions, I'm going to make my own test series this year also. It is a feeling. If I give very easy question, then my credibility would be lost. All right. If I give difficult questions, then the students appreciate, okay, sir gave such difficult questions. So that was a good test series. Right. This is how it goes. So that's why test series many times has been deliberately made difficult. It does not mean that the same marks are going to be replicated in the UPSC examination. So don't be panic. All right. Secondly, don't use your test series to evaluate how much you are going to score in UPSC. Test series is going to be your playing ground, your trial. Okay. It is just like you're trying to make sure, okay, which way I should be appearing for the examination, what is the correct strategy for me, that's it. So in this, either you would be getting extremely low score or extremely high score. In both the cases, you just don't have to be worried about it. If you get 140 in a certain test, does not mean that you are definitely going to pass the prelim. And if you get 40, does not mean you are going to definitely fail. So don't use tests to evaluate your performance in UPSC. Thirdly, when it comes to very close to the examination, because I don't know whether we would be interacting or not, mostly we are not going to. So it's my duty to tell you this. When there are 10, 15 days or 7 days up to the examination, 1 week before the examination, don't try to push yourself too much. Okay, to acquire each and everything that can be possibly done. For example, the other student is reading this book. I haven't read that. Okay, I would go and buy the book and start reading it. The other student has given this test series. I haven't given that test series. I felt the questions were really good. You got to understand, the field is always greener on the other side. So if I appear for Unique Academy test series, I would always feel that, okay, that class's test series is better because I have not appeared for it. Okay, this is how it goes. So I would take those tests and appear for it. Please don't go for this rush and hush, at least in the last week. Rather, you should be feeling very at ease with what you have done. Actually, when I say this, I assume that you have done a lot of hard work already. It does not mean you have done anything, but you are still feeling at ease with yourself. Then you have no choice but to feel that way. Okay, so many times I've seen students get extremely tense in the month of July because sir, we have not prepared. But in the month of August, they are very relaxed because they decide not to appear for the examination. Okay, so that's what happens because of the lack of preparation. So I tell this when I assume that you are prepared professionally. Okay, so just be at ease with yourself. At the same time, you just don't have to worry or poke about what others are doing. Your friends or your known people who are studying in some other city, maybe Delhi or Jaipur, anywhere. Just don't have to be worried about it. Keep a lot of faith on your own resources, your own books. Okay, because there is no resource or book which is bad in nature. If you take, say, Bipin Chandra on one side and Chattopadhyay on the other side, both of them written the same history. History to change hona nahi hai. Only difference is going to be 2 more facts plus or minus here and there. So how you use your resources is always a more important thing rather than what others are doing or what resources being used by others. Had that been a case that a person who is using a certain resource is able to pass the examination and others not, then that person who is running that coaching class would have been India's richest person. Because every student appearing for UPSC would have gone to that place. Getting it? So that's not the case. And I, for myself, is an example in front of you that firstly, I have not done coaching classes in Delhi. And secondly, I have not done coaching classes at all. Okay. So certainly, I don't mean to say that you have to appear for 5 times then. That was not the case. That was my personal mistakes because of which it happened. But what I mean to say here is that there is nothing like a certain formula. You have to follow it and then only you pass. You can carve your own way out of it. And that is totally based upon how good guidance you get. Okay. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just guiding you towards that. So just don't have to worry about what others have done. Then on the day of the examination, that is a critical day. That becomes critical because of one example that I have. When I was preparing for my CAT examination, there was a person who used to teach us mathematics. All right. One of the genius that I ever seen in mathematics. And when I say mathematics, I don't mean to say arithmetics. I mean to say integration, derivation, etc. So he was truly a genius because these topics we just hate. I personally used to hate them. What used to happen is that we were given a same center for a CAT examination and he was carrying 5 handkerchiefs with him. 5 rumal kyun aale hote the? The reason was that he was a talented person, but during the time of examination, he used to be abnormally anxious. All right, his hands used to sweat like anything. And the hands used to turn into a tap. All right, so he needed so many handkerchiefs, so much of cloth to really wipe it out and so on. And because of that, he was not able to crack the examination. We being his students cracked it, but he did not. And that's because of that exam syndrome, exam day syndrome, where he was just not able to, hold himself. He just couldn't get hold of himself. And that's what happens with many of the students. Students are really well prepared, but on that day, they just miss the trick. All right. So what is supposed to be done on that day? First of all, the scenario you're going to put to, that is your center, examination center, is going to be a new place for you. There would be thousands of students, at least hundreds of students around you. And many very sincere students of them would be carrying textbooks with them. Okay, study material. I mean, this exceptional sincerity is not supposed to be shown. Okay. Having said that, I'm certainly being sarcastic over here. Okay, just to be clear. You just don't have to worry what others are reading. There would be some even more exceptional people who would tell you this is going to come, this is not going to come, and etc. etc. No one knows about it. Okay, but there are always काही आतली माहिती असलेले लोक असतात नेहमी. Okay. So they just keep on telling you that. And all these things actually become enough to shake your head. Okay, yeah, he's telling me that there would be a question about this Jan Dhan Yojana, but I don't know the details of that. So you start searching around then. What are the details? Take the mobile phone out, start searching on internet. When is it happening? Just 1 hour before the examination. You got to understand, examination is so big, so wide, that a small preparation before half an hour the examination is certainly not going to help you crack the examination. That is not going to be a game changer. You got to understand this. So you got to be really calm and quiet and stable and unworried about what others are doing, what others are speaking, what others are reading. Take your place. Okay, make sure that all the technical things the things that you are going to perform over there, for example, writing your roll number, encircling the right numbers, writing the examination name, etc., is done correctly. Last year I met a student. He said that while encircling a number, he got it wrong or somewhere. I personally became very angry to that. How you prepare for one examination for 1 whole year, or maybe more than that, how can you get this normal thing incorrect? That is not allowed. You cannot be so stupid that you have been given a 6-figure roll number and you are not able to write it properly. Okay, so he said that's what happened, and then he had some sort of a word exchange with the supervisor. That wasn't a wise thing, certainly. Why to be fighting with someone when you are appearing for the examination? He did all these things and then used it as an excuse why I failed in the examination. Please don't do all these things. Okay, make sure that you are filling it up perfectly so that nothing happens ahead of it. No technical mistake at all. And thirdly, we all know the pattern. There is question number and then there are 4 circles in front of it. always make sure that you are encircling the exact number that you are pointing to. Always. That is the thing which happens so many times to so many students. That I wanted to go for question number 12, answer B, but by mistake I encircled A instead of B. Or instead of going for question number 12B, I went for question number 13B. So you got 2 wrongs now. Because of one mistake, don't gele apne. Getting it? These mistakes are unacceptable. It happened in 2012 attempt. The girl who was sitting in front of me, CSAT paper. That time CSAT used to be a competitive paper. And I guess from question number 51 or 52, she wanted to encircle 51C, something like that. But she did it on 52 and then the series started till question number 80. It's done, out of the race. I didn't know whether she passed or not. I didn't inquire for that. But certainly she wouldn't have passed the examination, right? So such things shouldn't be happening in the examination, because that is like pouring water on whatever you have done in last 1.5 years. And please guys, just remember one thing, cracking prelim examination is really very, very important for us. Because firstly, when you lose one prelim examination, you actually lose 1.5 years of your youthful stage. 1.5 varsha vaya jato hai. Okay. That is not healthy at all for us, firstly. Secondly, if you crack the prelim examination the first attempt, that helps you boost your confidence. And that confidence might be exactly the thing you may be needing to crack the main examination also. Okay. Because anyways, mains is subjective, so every student comes to the same level playing field. So prelim examination in many ways becomes a very important examination for us. Okay. It gives us promotion towards mains, it gives us confidence, it gives us motivation to prepare even for the next attempt. That I cracked prelim the last attempt, so that is my motivation. First attempt madhe me pre-crack keli. Many people are not able to do that. So at least I am worth something. That would be motivation for your next attempt. Getting it? And that's why I take prelim examination very seriously. And again, numerically, last time also, perhaps I discussed this, that 5 lakh students are going to appear, 15,000 are going to pass. Because this year also exactly the same number of seats are there, 1,079, right? So around 15,000 students are going to pass the examination. So just make the calculations. What is the ratio? Okay, competition is tremendous. Okay, and then now at the point of behavior, let me just tell you some things. First of all, when you decide to be an IAS officer, not only IAS, maybe any officer in UPSC, you start carrying some responsibility. Okay, responsibility in terms of your own personality, responsibility in terms of your own family, etc., etc. So when you are wasting time while being away from your family or away from your parents, you are actually betraying your own parents in this case. Okay, don't do that. Because, I started this journey with this dream to be an IAS officer someday. Certainly not with that beacon, etc., etc. Tevda navto माझं motivation, but, to see myself as an officer, that was the ultimate dream. I was not able to achieve it till 10th of May, I guess. Okay, 10th of May jo result ala. I still was successful because financially I was pretty stable. I got my own house in Pune. Family was stabilized. Everything was just done. But I always felt that there was something missing. And the missing piece was that, in fact, that missing piece was actually taking a toll of my mental peace. In fact, and that was that I was still not able to achieve the goal I had set. The first instance when I failed to achieve my goal was in 12th, when I couldn't get admission to a medical college. Alright, perhaps I would regret that my whole life, that I couldn't be a doctor when all the other members of my family are doctor. That was one thing, that was the baggage I was already carrying with me. And this was the second baggage, that I decided to go for UPSC examination. I couldn't do that either. So it became a little difficult for me to digest that. There was nothing wrong with how I was living or etc. There was no lack of happiness. But still there was something which was pinning me somewhere. Alright. And that is something which shouldn't happen to anyone. So don't let your dream die away like this. Okay. Don't compromise. Okay. Just give your best. At least I wouldn't say, okay, I would say let's not discuss the result. But what is the date of your exam? 7th of August, right? On 5th of August, at least you should be feeling that I have done whatever I could have possibly done for this examination. Let that feeling of satisfaction come, and that comes naturally, okay? You shouldn't feel that artificially, okay, I'm feeling that somewhere. It shouldn't be that way. It should come naturally, that yes, I'm feeling that. Mala jevda shakya hota tevda mi kela hai. And now it depends upon many other things. Luck certainly is an issue. There is no doubt about it. But that feeling of satisfaction should be there. Okay, so let it be there at least, please. And when it comes to our responsibility towards our parents used to be, they used to make us accountable when we were in school. All right, they used to ask us, what was your homework? Have you done it? Show me your homework, etc., etc. They could do that because they knew what is taught in the schools. When it comes to UPSC, they don't know what is the exam all about. So they cannot make you accountable now. And that is the point where you take up the responsibility to be accountable to yourself. That my parents, they have a dream that our child is going to be an IAS officer in next 2-3 years. They would be so proud of this. All right. And it is my responsibility to make sure that that happens. And let me just share one pretty personal thing to you, with you. When the result came out, it was, I guess, 4:30 on 10th of May. One of my old students called me and she told me that, sir, your name is in the list, you got 200th rank, etc., etc. Certainly, I felt happy. I took out my mobile phone and I called my parents. So that moment where my parents picked up the phone and I told them that I passed the examination, etc., that moment was really divine one. All right. No, that's something. I literally felt that, okay, I should appear once more for that examination because I want to once more make I want to make one more phone call like this. Okay, that was really beautiful. Okay, that phone call was for around 60 seconds or something like that. They just congratulated me and there were a lot of people from media surrounding us, so I couldn't talk a lot with them. But those 60 seconds, I really want to relive them again and again. But I cannot now, certainly, I just cannot. But I would tell you, please try to achieve those 60 seconds. They are really very, very nice. Okay, so many times we read in the books or novels, heavenly feeling, etc., this term, right? That was the true heavenly feeling. Perhaps that cannot be explained in words. But that's something there. I literally believed on that day that there is something called as heaven. All right, and that heaven is that moment really, which lasts for a very short period, but that's something which has a tremendous impact on your whole life. Okay, that was something which is great in nature. So please try to achieve that. At the same time, when it comes to parents, for myself, I'm a parent now. And what I understand is that I cannot dedicate myself to anybody else but my child, both me and my wife. We would not have dedication to any other person in this world but our child. Certainly we all love our parents, but that is a natural instinct that you love our children most. It means that your parents are the people who love you the most and they are dedicated each and everything that they could to your life. Okay, so whenever you waste your time, whenever you behave like a tyrant who doesn't study and still feels confident that you would crack the examination, etc., just try to remember them. Okay, that would bring you the needed shame and you would sit down and study. Getting it? And this emotional or motivational aspect certainly is a very important factor for the preparation of the examination. Clear? Okay, that's all from my side now. Please do ask me some questions if you have it. Yes.
It was very complex.
Thank you very much.
Sir, in one of your attempts, you were unable to pass English, qualifying English.
Yes.
Then how you prepare for that? And is being good in English, does it advantages while appearing in English medium?
English medium, you want to talk. Okay. Now, 2014 when I failed in English, certainly that was bad luck from my side because, I had cracked CAT examination which was based on English, but I couldn't over here. I personally did not prepare separately for English because I knew that was a one-time thing. Okay, that has happened because of some reason, that is not going to happen again. I was confident about it, but this year I made sure that I complete the paper, which perhaps I had not in 2014. And when it comes to medium, writing other 7 papers, 4 GS, 2 optional and 1 essay, in any medium does not affect your scoring. Be it English, be it Marathi language, my suggestion to you would be, please choose a language where you think your expression is better. It is all about conveying your idea to the examiner. So if you think that English is a better language for you to convey it, use it. If you think no, English is not helping you, rather you lose too much of time in thinking about the spelling and the grammar, etc., that think of the other language where you can be confident about it. But let me tell you frankly, spelling mistakes and grammatical mistakes are caught, all right, and they certainly hurt your score in English. So that's why you got to be good at it, because you yourself have chosen that language. So language medium does not really matter, okay, as long as you are able to express yourself properly. Okay, fine. Anything else? Nothing. Yes, go on.
Also here, you can see this way. How you prepare simultaneously, and does this help to clear both the exams?
Okay. Yes, this question has been asked many times to me. This was the first attempt. 2015 was the first time when I appeared for MPSC examination. Well, my base of preparation was UPSC. So when it comes to the core topics, I did not prepare from the perspective of MPSC. There were just 2-3 topics like geography, history related to Maharashtra, and human rights and human resource development. These are the only few topics about which MPSC asks questions and which are not there in UPSC. When it comes to preparation, you can certainly prepare simultaneously. When you prepare for MPSC, your factual base becomes a little more strong. And that factual base helps you in a UPSC examination while writing the answers. Okay, because certainly, if you are writing about poverty in India, and if you give figures and facts, the examiner is going to be happy with this, that he is speaking with some sort of base, factual base. So certainly, having some command on facts helps you in the UPSC main examination, and that is the need for MPSC. So you can be benefited by this. And when it comes to preparation of MPSC, I followed the same strategy. I very thoroughly analyzed the last 3-4 years question papers for MPSC, and thorough means in such a thorough manner that I had literally recited all the papers. 1-2 things I came to know. First of all, in every paper, around 4 to 5 questions are directly repeated from the last year in MPSC. Directly repeated, not even the optionals are changed. Copy paste is done. Firstly. Secondly, there is a pattern in MPSC examination. It is a pretty trendy examination, in fact. They follow a certain trend where they emphasized on certain topics. For example, SGSY, Swarna Jayanti Gram Soyuzgar Yojana. For last many years, they have been asking 4 to 5 questions about the single program. This year also they repeated the same thing. Okay. So you got to understand, analyze the trend properly. And there were some crude things that I did. I don't suggest that you follow it, but I'll just give an example. I took out the number mathematically. I took out the number. How many questions were there in 2012, 13, 14, where the options were all of the above, none of the above. I took out the number of such questions, and then I analyzed for how many questions, such questions, the answer was all of the above, none of the above. And when I calculated it mathematically, the number came out to be 81.70%. 81% times, if the option is all of the above, none of the above, that is the answer. So that's what I did while solving the paper. Okay, that's what I did. And there were some obvious things. For example, there was a question where they asked a question about a certain award. That award is given to a person who has proficiency in 3 languages. I just had no idea about what 3 languages are. They gave sets of answers, options: Persian, Urdu, Hindi, English, Urdu, English, English, Urdu, Hindi, and third option something like this, and 4th option was none of the above. So I was thinking, such sets of 3 languages could be thousands like this, right? But still the 4th option has been given as none of the above. MPSC is like this, so let's go for it now. And when I checked it, yes, that came out to be like this. When it comes to paper 3, HR, HRD, now HRD is supposed to be the most difficult paper to score in MPSC. But I got 79 marks in that paper. And what I believe is that happened because I was using a lot of logic while I was answering the questions. It is all about programs and policies. So when the question was asked, I used to think, can this provision be there in any program? Does this provision sound logical? All right. Because we generally know what are the trends of programs and policies that are there in India or Maharashtra. So on the basis of that, I was able to crack many questions. All right. And again, the other strategies. On the day while I was appearing for MPSC examination, a student was sitting next to me, said that I attempted many questions. There are 150 questions, by the way, in mains. He said I attempted 120. So I was like, I attempted 150. All right. And that was there. My mathematics, that has always worked for me, everywhere. Okay, when it comes to any MCQ type examination, I speak with a lot of authority. Because right since the CAT, I had not failed in a single MCQ based examination. When it comes to writing, yes, I failed 4 times in UPSC. When it comes to MCQ based, I have never failed in that. Never, ever. All right. And that's why I firmly talk about all these strategies and mathematical logic, etc., etc. That certainly at least keeps me 1 mark ahead of the cutoff. Minimum 1 mark जास्त मला cutoff पेक्षा मिळणार. तेवढा तर confidence असतो आपल्यामध्ये. ठीक आहे. So my suggestion to you would be, if it is possible, please prepare for MPSC and UPSC simultaneously. Please do that. Because, relying on a single examination like UPSC could be, what is the acronym? Union Public Service Commission. It can also be Uncertain Public Service Commission. There's too much of uncertainty in this. Okay, shocking results come out. So if you're not keeping other options open, there would be a possibility that after 2 years, there would be a lot of frustration from your side. Especially when you see that, now what I've seen the trend, students who prepare for UPSC examination, they generally feel that, okay, he's preparing for NPSC, so he's of a lower class or something like that. We have started discrimination like this. But that lower class person, he passes out, and you still remain to be a student. Getting it? So first of all, don't make such discrimination. And secondly, try to keep as many doors open as possible. MPSC is going to help you. And also appear for other examinations like Staff Selection Commission, or at RBI, Grade B, and so on. Because experiences of all these examinations are going to help you. All right. In any endeavor that you take up. So keep most of the possibilities open at the same time. Let's consider you crack the MPSC prelim examination. You appear for the mains. Confidence booster hai na? It is a confidence booster, certainly. Then if you crack the main examination also on the basis of your UPSC preparation, one more confidence booster. Anyways, is your target MPSC? No. Still you are cracking through it. So your mind is going to be relaxed. That's what happened in my case. I was not targeting MPSC, just appeared for it and cracked it. When I went for the interview, I went, pretty casually. Casually not in the sense of dressing. I was pretty well dressed, but casually in the sense that I was not worried about it. And I got a panel which is supposed to be a terror panel. A panel led by Aparajit ma'am. She is supposed to be a person who gives very low score to students. But she gave me highest mark in Maharashtra this year in MPSC. So that's just because of the fact that I was carrying a lot of confidence with me. All right. So please do appear for other examinations. And if you get through a post, please join it. Join karun taka tela. All right. And continue your UPSC preparation along with that. Okay. That is going to be a relaxing thing for you. तुम्हाला बरं वाटेल बरंच त्यात ना, you would be in a better position to appear for UPSC, and that's where eventually the possibility of result increases. All right, so please do that. Anything else? Nothing?
Sir, can you explain your public strategy?
Okay, public administration, there was, a couple of things that I tried to do differently this year. First of all, conceptual clarity. I went for some advanced books. For example, I had not read this thing, New Horizons of Mohit Bhattacharya, pretty thoroughly. This time I did that. And secondly, the questions, I used to take them as, I'd taken a question. In the rough work, I started connecting what are the concepts involved in the question. So that was the rough work that I did. So while answering, I used to make sure that, okay, these concepts are getting reflected in my answer. All right. And for almost all the questions, I had done a lot of rough work. Perhaps that has helped me. Helped me in scoring at least average marks in public administration. And nothing more than that, really. Because when it comes to thinkers, which they ask, we are just not in a position to cover all of them. So that's a difficult thing to do. So it was all about whatever I know about public administration, I would at least be writing this to the best possible extent that I can. That was the strategy for public ad. Okay. Anything else?
Notes.
Okay. Well, I prepared notes for GS. I did not do it for optional. But again, when it comes to notes, that's not something that is compulsory, that one should always take out notes. It is all about the comfort level. Now, when it comes to GS, what I used to feel is that there is just too much of material and you just cannot carry the material every time wherever you go. So it was all about I must have some synchronized note pattern where I can revise it anywhere. Okay, so that was the reason I made notes. But at the same time, if you start feeling that while making notes you're losing a lot of time, then don't do that. You may highlight or color that statement or that area in your book and then revise it. So it is totally based upon your convenience. It's not a necessity as such, note making, etc. etc. Okay. Anki Gai?
As far as mains examination is concerned, we have word limit and vocabulary quiz. So what to do about it?
Well, word limit, again, I'll just divide it into 3 parts. That's a very good question, in fact. I should have explained it anyways. Let's take paper 3. There were 4 questions from internal security, 2 questions from disaster management. So these 6 questions were my first questions. Since those answers are going to be my best answers, I wouldn't think about word limit in this case. Even if I exceed 200 words, it's okay. Okay, because they are my best answers. Then it comes to the normal questions. I'm not very confident about them, but I can still answer it. I would take my words up to 150 words. Not more than that. 150 would be the highest limit. And then in the end, those 3-4 questions about which I have very low idea, or I personally don't think that my answers are going to be very good. So I would finish off these topics at around 70-80 words. Okay. So this is how the division has to be made. You just cannot go for rough, uniformly 150 words for every answer. Alright, because you again know which answers are good, which answers are bad, etc. etc. I'll again underline one thing. Wherever possible, please go for schematic representation. Anyways, you are going for point-wise answers, that's certainly there. But schematic representation, brings about a sort of an ornamentation to your answer. Alright, that segregates your answer from the other students. And naturally, it's a comparative examination. Right. So, a student in the morning asked me how to write an answer which is different from others. So, you're not making any deliberate effort to write a different answer. Different म्हणजे भलतंच काहीतरी लिहायचं असं नाही ना. Ultimately, you're writing the same thing. If you are asked about uniform civil code, you're not going to write about right to education, to write differently. Okay, you are going to write about uniform civil code. So, while doing that, how are you going to separate your answer from others? By giving correct factual information and by representing in a different way. That's it. So, make some effort to do that, and for that you need a lot of practice. In fact, to solve 20 questions in 3 hours needs lots of practice, especially when it comes to paper 2 and paper 4. Because those 2 papers we solve in the afternoon session, afternoon 2 to 5. Anyways, we are pretty exhausted in the morning session 9 to 12, and then solving it from 2 to 5 in the afternoon becomes a little difficult mentally also. So please be very well practiced when it comes to answer writing. Okay. Anything else? कोणी हात वर केला होता? Yes.
So what is the difference between a student who is qualifying in first attempt and the other one in 5 or 6 attempts? What is the different strategy?
अच्छा, strategy.
You are not able to qualify for 3.
Well,
is there any strategy of study?
for the old students, right? Well, the old students just need to analyze where they did wrong. Alright, that is the point. If you come to know where you are going wrong, if you correct it, there is no way you are going to fail in the examination. The student who cracks up in the first attempt, these are my opinions personally now. Those students are either have started the preparation pretty early and still are pretty lucky ones to crack it in the first attempt. That's what it is. But when it comes to the students who have appeared for 2-3 attempts but are not able to crack, just try to understand what mistakes you are going for. Just try to avoid it. That's it. Because when it comes to knowledge base, in 2 years, knowledge base becomes very wide. So that's not a question at all. Okay. Anything else?
Yes.
When we are restricted,
Just a little louder, please.
while writing answers, we are restricted to some words, number of words. Vocabulary plays very crucial role in that. So, how to improve vocabulary?
Achha, vocabulary improvement. Now, Certainly, vocabulary is going to play a major role because you would be able to explain many things in limited words. Vocabulary preparation is a long-term process, in fact. Okay, it's a pretty long-term process, but it may start with reading newspaper and knowing the words which are there in the newspaper through dictionary. Or if you have a lot of time, you may go for books like Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis, etc., etc. That is the only way we can go for it. But certainly, if you're going for English medium, vocabulary is a necessity, is important. And again, when I say this, I don't mean to say that your English should be of a excellent level. I mean, you are not going to speak like Shashi Tharoor or anything of this sort. Okay, you are supposed to be simple, yet pretty accurate when it comes to using words. That matters. Okay, and again, repeating the same thing, please don't make any spelling or grammatical mistakes. That is a big necessity. All right? One of a girl candidates who passed this year was asked a question about women empowerment. All right. She can give this example that no girls ask questions. All right. In the class, only boys have asked questions to me. So either it is a case that girls are pretty confident about the result, or there is a issue of women empowerment even now when it comes to UPSC. Okay. Why girls are not asking questions? What is the issue? No questions at all. Okay, fine. I just cannot deliberate you to ask one. Okay, or the questions would end up with what is your name and etc. It's fine. So, okay, so we'll stop this session now. Okay, it's been really nice journey to be a teacher for last 3-4 years in Unique Academy. I interacted with many students. And as was given in the newspapers also, I came to know my own mistakes while studying the mistakes of the students. So my students also have a pretty big role in my success this year. And I wish all of you get through your aims in the next attempt itself. Thank you very much.